There's this magnificent battleship which is literally sinking into the mud on the Cape Fear River. So we went on board, and you know, they're trying to raise $5 million to keep the restoration of this ship going. And just like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, I went, hey, I know how to do it. Let's put up a production of Mr. Roberts on the aft deck of this ship. Well, the friend that I was visiting had spent his entire life as a marketing director for Fox and ESPN Sports. Looked at me and said, are you serious? And I said, yeah. And he said, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard. I was there for 3 days. In 3 days, we got meetings with the head of the Restoration Committee for the North Carolina, the city of Wilmington, and the biggest theater in Wilmington, the Valiant Theater. And we put together a deal. We put it together. The production was to open on July 4th, next year, 2017, on the aft deck of the USS North Carolina. I've had the ideas of how to stage it in my head forever. I told him I don't want to come in as an outsider and take over. I would love to come in as a technical advisor to help you in any ways I can, and I want to play Doc, which is the third character in the trilogy. And it was all set, and I was actually supposed to go back 4 months ago to sign all the papers and everything. And then somebody in the upper hierarchies of the theater said, well, he's already told us what he wants to do. What do we need to bring him in here for? So they screwed us. And they just said, well, you gave us the idea, so we'll just do it here. We don't need to bring you in and pay you to do this. So when I say the industry will break your heart, that broke my heart. It really did. I don't know how they're going to do it. I mean, you know, it really was Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, because, you know, we were there at the right place at the right time, and I didn't have time to run to, you know, an Office Depot or a Kinko's and draw up a, you know, a do not disclose or disclosure agreement. So I wasn't protected. And, you know, yeah, you're taking a leap of faith, but, you know, again, you know, this is a community that it's in North Carolina. In North Carolina, if anybody's read anything in the newspapers, is still living in 1958 with the legislation they're putting in. But I think they looked at it and went, we don't want this Hollywood outsider, and plus the fact we'd have to fly him here, we'd have to house him, we'd have to pay him. And we have local actors here that we don't have to pay. Yep, so don't kid yourself. You can get your heart broken at age 72.
Speaking of unfulfilled projects, how close did you were involved in the Second Coming pitch trailer with Richard he did about 15 years ago. How close did that actually get done? I've seen the trailer at previous conventions. It's a great piece. How far did that get along, and give us a little background on what happened?
Again, you know, Richard has always had a soft spot in his heart for Battlestar. And again, you know, the way the show was canceled, the way, the possibilities that that show had with, you know, Glenn's vision of, you know, the Egyptian dynasties involved, you know, crossed over to his Mormon beliefs. I mean, there was a lot of spiritual overtones to that show, which would have had to have been developed. And that was what was supposed to happen. Richard always liked that. So we tried, you know, in 1998, you know, friends, we tried to get Universal interested again, and nobody even wanted to talk to us. They just, failed show, failed show, failed show. So we became entrepreneurs. Richard said, would you help me? I said, absolutely. So it was 95% Richard's money, you know, and a couple of dollars he borrowed from me. We got actors, we got fans who had costumes, and we filmed.
It was like fan. I heard it was like fan costumes that you would see at this stuff that was done in it, and digital artists that just did their own 3D work that contributed to it.
We did. We got people from all over, and we shot we actually shot enough footage to put something together for 25 minutes. It was edited down to a 10-minute trailer, and the whole idea of the second coming was to take the original cast of Battlestar, make them the older cast, bring in a new cast of young people, and move the show forward.
Which is interesting because it's kind of like what's happening with Star Wars with Force Awakens, where you see older Han Solo, and I was watching that, and I was thinking because I've read a few of Richard's books, like Armageddon. So if you read his books, you can kind of see what he had planned for what the new series of movies would have been.
Absolutely, it only took Universal, Star Wars, and Lucas, you know, 3 disastrous films to figure out how to do it right. But so we made it. We made it, and you know, it came out really, really well. Now you have to realize we do not have the rights to Battlestar Galactica at all. We have nothing legal on this at all. We took it to Tom DeSanto and Bryan Singer, and they loved it. They loved it, but Bryan Singer was tied up with X-Men. He wasn't available. We still couldn't get Universal interested. So we took the trailer and we went out on the convention circuit. And I don't know the final number, but it was well into the hundreds of thousands of emails and letters that poured into Universal saying, we love this, bring this back. And that awoke the people in the Black Tower. And as is typical of things, instead of doing things the way all the fans wanted to do, they handed the show to Ron Moore, who just remade the original. So once that decision was made, again, we did not have any rights to the show. It didn't make sense for us to keep butting our heads against the wall. And I think Ron Moore threw the fans a bone by giving Richard a couple of episodes. Nobody else was invited to be in. I talked to Ron 6, 7 times, and every time I talked, he said, absolutely, Jack, I have every plan in the world to make you a part of this, and he never did.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because of the fan thing, you can't see it online. It's only been at conventions that you've been able to see it, but at least the fans can see that.
And
I think it was John Coleman's last role that he did too.
John Colicos graciously did, you know, some lines where he was very sick when he did them. He was a terrific man. You know, the first day I met him, I knew his background. And for people here who don't know, he was considered the premier foremost Shakespearean actor in Canada. He had won the Canadian Award as Best Actor many times. In fact, the youngest man in Canada to ever do Weird. Anyway, my first day on the show, I was standing in the studio watching him up on his perch, which was atop this big old styrofoam thing, you know, that they made. And he came down the ladder, and I introduced myself to him, and I said, I'm a fan of your work, you know, your training and your classical background. And he put his hands on each side of my head and kissed me on the lips and said, oh dear boy, if I can say this Shakespeare is easy. Well, listen, thank you, and thank you all so much. I know these kind of talk sessions get to be, you know, somebody's lecturing you. The great thing for me is I'm going to be at that table there all day. And my purpose here is to talk to you and have fun with you. Any questions that you have or anything you want to talk about, doesn't have to be Battlestar. If you're interested in theater, you could really get me going. So, you know, if you have aspirations at theater, or you would want to talk about acting and maybe is it right for you or anything, just come on up and we'll, yeah. And thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Jack.